Yo, what is good, my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned with yet another JJK Phantom Parade video. Hopefully everybody has been enjoying themselves. We got another tier list here. Today we're going to be talking about the green units, the green team. These tier lists have been actually pretty fun for me just because, and guys, I know I seem like I'm dead energy, but like I am enjoying this 1,000,000%, I promise. I just woke up like 40 minutes ago, literally, not even 40 minutes ago, almost 40 minutes ago. So I'm just here. Like, I've literally been sitting in Discord call with the homies in stark silence because I've just been waking up. So I feel like I'm finally like here to this point. But like I said, today we have a tier list on all of the green units in the game. Obviously, I will start off with my honorable mentions, and then we'll just go up the list from 10 to 1. I feel like it's more interesting that way because typically people wait until the people can skip to the end of the tier list. Obviously, you can do whatever the fuck you feel like. That's why I put the chapters on, so you can know exactly who's where. But at the same time, I do feel like going backwards from 10 to 1 is like better, because usually if I go this way, you know, you're always interested to see who the next unit is. If I go from 1 to the rest, you guys might not care as much, or you will always care more if I go from 10 to 1, because you always want to know who the best is. If I go from 1 to 10, you might just care who the best is and not care about the rest, because you're just like, who cares about the rest? But we're going to go ahead and get into the video. If you guys do like these videos, you can go down below, leave a like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man decides to glide. And you can also comment down below and let me know what you want to know. But that's going to be it. Let's go ahead and get it in. Let's go ahead and get it in. There we go. So you guys know where the dead man's favorite place to start is the honorable mention section. This one I might have to go over to the wiki a little bit for these honorable mentions, just because I don't remember 100% how Kaito actually works. But our honorable mentions are going to be this boy Kaito, or I guess I don't have to really open the wiki because they're only honorable mentions. It's not like I'm fully breaking down the kit. Kaito made it to honorable mentions because, and also let me put them in order, maybe something like this. Kaito makes honorable mentions because he has an ability, I believe, where if he hits the enemy, he lowers the attack they deal, and that's like his basic skill, I believe. So like that alone is really solid. His ultimate is a stun. You have to use him sometimes in like support missions. It's very rare that you see Kaito in the lineup for units for a mission, but when you need him, he does the job. That is for certain. Green Momo here is another honorable mention because whenever I was lacking for an extra buffer that I needed, it would be Momo who I choose, you know, beyond Yaga, beyond Nanami. How often are you in a situation that you can't use those two and you need a buffer? I mean, sometimes you just need green units and you just want to boost your drop rates in certain events with just green units, right? And then she's going to be right there for you, good use. And also her buff isn't too bad, and I think she has a way to give herself evade, just like the SSR Momo has a way to give herself evade. So has some form of defensive mechanic, not too bad. I only put this Miwa here because I heard that this is the only I heard that all Miwas are good because typically when because comes after the reason why they're good, they're not that crazy. They just have a strong gimmick, I guess. I've heard that Miwa is good because of her counter. This Miwa, though, is the first Miwa I've actually heard is good. I think she has like Bato counts or something like that for like her Bato style counter or some stupid shit. She stacks off of her sheaths. She can do more damage based off of her sheaths. I think she's an attacker, not a defender. So, but I still heard she's like the best Miwa. So I'll give her honorable mention for now. And then, you know, as I get my hands on her in the future and actually test her out, we'll have a better idea. A lot of these characters, or I won't say a lot of these characters, but like a few of these characters I actually just don't have. So it's just like I still have not had much of an experience with them. But that's mainly like the newer characters. Like, what do I mean by that? Like, Green Miwa is a newer character, I feel like, because she was a character that came out in JP after I stopped playing for real, but also she is like quite a bit newer on the global version. So it's like, she's on the global version, right? I'm pretty sure. Right? Green Miwa's on global, right? Am I missing something? I've been skipping banners, so that's why I don't know. But that's gonna be it for the honorable mentions. Oh, I almost forgot Green Nobata. Green Nobata is here because I heard that she works she can nuke similar to the levels of Gojo, but it just takes a lot more setup. And since it takes setup and Gojo can just instantly drop a one-tap nuke right there, then I'm just gonna leave him on the list, and she can sit off the list. But hopefully with an SP buff, it makes her work a little bit faster to the degree of Hollow Purple Gojo, and hopefully when he gets SP buff, he works even faster than he did originally. But now we are ready to crack into the top 10. So for number 10, we are going to grab our boy Mahito. So I actually just recorded a Phantom Metal shop priority video, and Mahito was the top of the list. Spoiler alert, literally not even a spoiler alert. Since Mahito has come out in the Phantom Metal shop, he has been the top of the list for who you should pick up. And since Dagon's release, literally the ranking priority order of who you should be picking up in the Phantom Metal shop has not changed at all. So Mahito is going to be the top of the list. And I was realizing yesterday that when I was looking at Mahito is that kind of character where you can buy him and literally not invest in him. I mean, obviously get him leveled up, but like you could buy him and not invest in him at all and still just like get crazy benefits off of him, just because the main thing that people are using Mahito for is to, one, rush his ultimate, which the skill that rushes his ultimate gives himself miniaturization for one turn, guaranteed, and gives him 270 ult gauge, guaranteed. Does not matter the level that you're at, so you can leave this skill at level 1 if you'd like to. And also whenever he is in the tiny body effect or miniaturized status, evade single target attacks, right? Then you come down here and you look at his ultimate. His ultimate deals damage equal to 15% of all enemies HP. You see that this does not change dependent on his level. And like this damage right here does change, but I can tell you right now, this damage is so menial, it does not matter. Like this is the damage that you're looking at most of the time. This is like below 100,000 damage, and then this is like however much, 15% of the enemy's HP is. But this is always going to be, the same proportional damage for any enemy, no matter across the game, right? So that's why Mahito is a very good character to pick up. He's going to give you a lot of easy clears, or not easy clears, but like a lot of clears where you couldn't beat it originally and you needed to like whittle the boss down all the way to a point, the same way that you whittle a boss down and then put DE Gojo at the end of Curse Sweep Battle, so that you can just like get that crazy debuff and finish off the rest of everything. Pretty much how Mahito works. You want to get through the majority of the event, and then once you get to the end of the event and Mahito comes out, you just want to pop his ult basically and take 15% of the enemy's HP. Hopefully you have the boss work down to below 15% HP so that Mahito is just one tapping. But either way, Mahito is a very useful free to play character. It gives your account so much extra win value because you have that extra little trump card in your back pocket of being able to just HP wipe the enemy. But wow, now that I'm thinking about it, thinking about HP wipe ultimates kind of makes me think of One Piece Treasure Cruise, but I'll never play that damn game again. But that's gonna be it for number 10. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next unit. Next unit I got here on my list, guys, is going to be this boy Suguru Geto. Geto is just a really solid support debuffer for the green team. I really like the fact that he has, it may not be the craziest effect, but I always appreciate whenever characters have an effect on their skill 1. Even though his skill 1's effect is just increases his own critical hit rate by 20%, hey bro, if it's extra damage, it's extra damage, man. You gotta think, your skill 1 is the skill that you have to spam whenever you do not have the cursed energy to do anything else. Unless you are a Sukuna, then you have a choice between your skill 1 and your skill 2. But for somebody who has to use their skill 1 when they don't have any cursed energy, then I will take somebody who has an effect on their skill 1 versus somebody who does not at all. If your cursed energy is 30 or above, increase your own critical hit rate by 20%. If your own cursed energy is 40 or above, increases your own critical hit rate by 20%, and then increases your own cursed energy the higher the damage boost is, up to 50%. I'm pretty sure there's something in here. I feel like there's something in here that makes him recover extra cursed energy, but I could be mistaken. Yeah, none of this is making him recover cursed energy, actually. His ultimate recovers his own cursed energy by 20, and it increases his own max cursed energy by 40, which allows him to kind of like overstack it a little bit. When defeating an enemy, recovers his own cursed energy by 10. Okay, that helps for sure. And then when a crit is performed, Taijutsu and Jujutsu stat by 10%. That certainly helps with his skill 1. And honestly, looking at this, I feel like I can see some very clear ways how they're going to SP limit break him, but that is another video for another day. But yeah, just really solid stock standard support. He He is mainly just good for like mono green. He doesn't really have much of a place on a bunch of other teams, but I mean, like, even still for mono green, he does what he does. And I usually see him on like most of the guides if there is a green stage that needs to be defeated. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to our number 8. Some of these units I have not used in a while or haven't used at all, like I said, right? Or haven't read too deeply into their kits. So like some of these things are just me relearning stuff as I'm looking at these characters. But for number 8, we're gonna have our guy Hollow Purple Gojo. What is there not to say about this man? He is an insane debuffer. Yeah, okay. He's an insane attacker. Let's be real. He has incredible damage. The only thing that sucks about him is he is the... I rank Gojos in terms of their freedom. This is the least free Gojo because when he uses ultimate, he has to leave. Other Gojos, you know, Gojo who uses red leaves after 7 turns. Domain Expansion Gojo leaves after 9 turns unless he uses ultimate, and then he gains another turn every single time he uses ultimate. Both of the young Gojos stay in the game indefinitely no matter what until they die, right? So sometimes this Gojo feels a little bad to use because he leaves after his ultimate, but nonetheless his ultimate does hit really freaking hard and decreases all enemies' ultimate count gauge by 2, but we cannot deny that this man's nukes hit insanely hard. If you set this man up properly, he is usually one tapping whatever stages you need or taking away most of the health on whatever stage you need. He was a very staple character when he came out. He was needed for a lot of different contents. You can still use him for floor today. It's just probably not as smooth of a run as you want. There's probably better options, but I mean, like, he can still work. So that's why he's taking the number 8 spot over at Gato. I feel like him and Gato are similar in the sense that like they're pretty good on like a mono green team, not too far outside of it, but Gojo is actually still useful outside of a mono green team because he is the nuker. Gato's stuff says things like, oh, 4 green units, you know, when allies are weak to green, right? But Gojo can be used anywhere, so Gojo will always have a little bit more relevance just for that reason, but we would certainly love to see him not leave the battle as soon as he ults. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is going to be Bond of Friendship Megami. Now, the reason why this Megami has taken the number 7 spot is just because he has really solid damage. He is a debuffer once again. There's a very common theme amongst green where units are said to be one thing, but they're something else. This Megumi functions very well as a DPS. His damage isn't like the best. He's not the most god tier, like, you know, output you're getting, but I mean, I would say he's solid secondary DPS. Sometimes you have to use him as a main DPS. I have done it before, so I mean, like, he can get the job done in that respect. I do definitely know that Gojo's nuke hits harder than whatever this man's ultimate is doing, but at the same time, I also know that this man will still be there after his ultimate. So for that, I had to give him a little bit higher than Gojo. Like, just Gojo characters are always limited by the fact, well, adults Gojo characters are always limited by the fact that they had to leave the battle in such a short amount of time, besides Domain Expansion Gojo, because typically 9 turns maybe not enough, but like with Domain Expansion Gojo on a team, he makes the fight 9 turns. And honestly, once he does his domain, he has 10 turns in all actuality. So like Gojo pretty much just controls the flow of the fight and just makes it a 10-turn situation. The DE Gojo. Hollow Purple Gojo, not so much. But I digress. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next unit. And guys, I'm not trying to be like super brief with these units, but I'm just like, dude, I've done a million videos talking about these units over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, I feel like I'm in that period right now. I feel like we're all in that period right now where we're just kind of like waiting for the games to be at a point where we don't know what's coming. Like JP is always like that, but Global's never that way. We always know what's coming. I think global players are just waiting for a point that we don't know what's coming, and that's really what I'm waiting for. So that's why I'm kind of like not going over these characters. I feel like I have taught about these characters 1,000,001 freaking times, dude. And I'm not saying I'm tired of it. I'm just saying that, like, you know, you guys have stuff to do in your day. You know what I'm saying, man? Like, y'all don't want to sit here and watch a 50-minute video when it could have been 30 minutes because I'm just going over information that I've regurgitated like 5 times before. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to number 6. I said, right? Number 6. I already explained Megami. Yeah. All right, guys. For number 6, we got Sakirenda. I don't know why, but I love saying her name like that. So Saki used to be a really stupid character, and by really stupid I just mean like really incompetent in the sense of like, yo, why did you design her this way? She really not working how you think she working. Basically, she was designed in a way initially where you wanted her to get below 35% HP and she could get 180% boost to her taijutsu and jujutsu. The only problem though was the fact that she had no real mechanics to help herself get to that HP threshold. She didn't really have a lot of damage reduction or anything of that nature to help her safely get to that HP threshold. And she also had no buffs being given to her as she was working her way to that HP threshold. But now she actually gets, where is it? Now she actually gets, at the start of turn, if on down, so she gets different instances of damage reduction dependent on HP thresholds. And then she also, right here we go. She gives herself different instances of damage reduction based on HP thresholds. And then she also increases her own jujutsu and taijutsu damage by 17% with each attack received, up to 150%, which also stacks on top of the other 180%, which gives her an extra 330% to jujutsu and taijutsu, which should make her hit really freaking hard, along with her, you know, damage reduction as well to make sure that she's staying alive. I'm pretty sure she got a revival status. Yes, she gets a revival status added into her kit as well. She gets attack nullification as well once the revival has been depleted. Like, they made her so much better. And honestly, I don't even know why they made her the way that she was made in the first place. Like, I'm looking at the full kit and I'm like, yo, y'all look like y'all had this in store the entire time. Y'all should have just done this shit from the start and then SP buffed her on top of that. But I mean, like, nonetheless, I'm still glad that she works. I was gonna say works better, but I'm glad that she works now. She didn't work at all before, I feel like, but now she works, and damn does she be working. And the reason why she's so high on the list is because I've seen in some really high level tower floors, like, she is kind of like the secret recipe, the secret sauce, if you do not have like the limited characters, or, you know, you're missing like some older characters, but you somehow have her, right? And she's also a standard banner character, so you have a pretty solid chance of having her over Megami. I can't even say over Gato. And honestly, at this point, maybe you'd even have a better chance of having her over Mahito, because, you know, we've been getting, literally, you log into the game right now and make an account, you get 10 free summons. So there's a strong chance you can pick up Saki right there. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go ahead and move on to the top 5. So guys, we're getting straight to business. Number 5 on this list is going to be that boy Gakuganji. Gakuganji, once again, just another character who works on any team. This first skill is very impactful just because it lowers the enemy's jujutsu stat, which gives you, you know, extra survivability. Alternate tuning state doesn't really matter that much. I never use that shit because it is just a waste of cursed energy. But when I do use it, you know, it has extra effects that I'm not too upset about getting to go off. The actual, like I said, this right here doesn't really matter because Gakuganji isn't your DPS, so you don't really need his jujutsu stat to be much higher. Activates or deactivates alternate tuning state is all this skill really does, besides the jujutsu stat, of course. Then the skill 3 is his bread and butter. Increases all enemies taijutsu and jujutsu damage received by 36.7%. He's just making everybody get hit so much harder. He is just a no-brainer, and that is not linked to just green, so he can be used on any team. He is just a really good debuffer, and he typically he always performs no matter where he is, right? Whereas the other characters that are below him on this list, like, I can put them in different places, and sometimes RNG can cuck me on it, but like, typically RNG can never cuck Gakuganji out of doing what he is supposed to be doing. RNG is typically not fucking me out of getting the debuffs that I need with this man. And with his debuffs, I am definitely smacking them enemies fast. I use his ultimate sometimes. I don't even know what it does. Decreases all enemies damaged up by 50% for 2 turns. Oh, that's excellent, actually. Yeah. Gakuganji is just really good choice. And he's SR as well. And it is unfortunate. I do hate to see that gacha games, you know, don't release SR characters after a certain point. But I get it, I guess. What everybody is paying money for, what everybody is hyped for, is a SSR character or the highest rarity, whatever it may be. Nobody, or I'm not going to say nobody cares about an SR character. I care about SR characters because they're just easier to get and they make the game, you know, they fill in the gaps sometimes, right? But they fill in the gaps in a non-premium way. But, you know, nonetheless, yeah, no, just another thing is the fact that he is an SR and the fact that he has stats that are much lower than an SSR stats, but like he still survives in battle just because of what he is capable to do and what he is capable to provide for the team. So Gakuganji definitely clears spot number 5, and then we got to get some heavy hitters going here for 4 through 1. So at number 4 we have this boy Mekamaru here, or I'm sorry, Kokichi Muta. So the real reason why I have this man so high on the list is because, one, I have heard that he is an incredible DPS. I've seen so many guide videos looking it up, you know, just looking up mono green teams on certain stages of tower, on curse sweep, you know, whatever, right? But the real thing that makes me interested in this Mekamaru is that, one, he does have a count mechanic that is based off of Mekamaru counts, but then 2, he gets extra damage based on the number of Kyoto Jujutsu high affiliation allies present in a wave. Now, the reason why I'm giving him the edge because of this is because I genuinely do think that right now, yes, we're still in the first year of the game for the JP or for the global version, but like JP's in the second year, yes, but I feel like we're still trying to establish some things. What are one of those things that we are trying to establish? Teams, right? And before, the teams were get your copy of Gojo and then find units to support around him. Then eventually other sorcerers started to become more powerful, and all of a sudden you weren't looking at just Gojo. Now we have moved from a meta of making sure Gojo is fully supported to a meta of making sure you have all these different mono teams, or at least very strong mono parts for missions that require certain colors, right? Now I think the next thing they're going to try to move towards is going to be like, okay, now you're getting buffs based on, you know, a specific number of units from a certain category on your team. And I think they're going to try to do a lot more of this kind of stuff. And I think Green Miwa also functions this way, but because I think that this mechanic is future-proof and they're going to start to build into it more and more, I'm going to go ahead and give Mekamaru a really high spot up here for now. And if they prove to us in the future that they they're not looking to improve this style of characters anymore, where, you know, they are getting stronger based off of affiliations, then yeah, Mekamaru's place in the list will have to change. But for now, I'm going to have to give him a strong number 4. Number 3 is going to be that boy Haijo, another example of a character who has a very interesting mechanic for extra damage. Obviously he has his awakened one state where he builds up his ultimate gauge, hits the buff, becomes the strongest, and then hits his ultimate afterwards. But also he has, where is it, he has cursed energy cores as well, which gives him extra stacks of damage, extra 30% for one count. Or I'm sorry, no, Curse Core is 35%, is it not? Yes. Jujutsu stat awakened. So I think the Curse Cores only deal extra damage when you're in the awakened state, because it says Jujutsu stat awakened, right? But even still, he just has a lot of different moving pieces to his kit, which make his kit really interesting, just like Mekamaru's is interesting. Now, Mekamaru's is dependent more so on the way his team is constructed. Gojo's is constructed more dependent on on himself. That's why Gojo takes the edge over Mekamaru, because both of them have the capability to do really insane damage, but Gojo's is definitely more self-dependent, whereas Mekamaru's is more dependent on the team. Even though Mekamaru can still do good damage by himself, I'm not saying go out and build, you know, full Kyoto second year teams. You don't have to do that to get the good damage off of Mekamaru, but like his damage is definitely gonna look better like that. Whereas Gojo, you could probably put him anywhere and make his damage look nutty anywhere. Number 2 is that boy Yuji. Yuji is certainly just a big damage unit, we'll be real, but his SP buff did make him a lot stronger. He's had adjustments. I mean, he's just one of the easiest characters for you to get access to in the game. There's not really much for me to say about him. Zone makes him kind of OP as well. I mean, his third skill hits a lot harder. His stats are higher with SP potential in general. I always have this point that I think that taijutsu characters actually just last way longer than jujutsu characters, because taijutsu, just straight up taijutsu people in JJK are so hard to come by that it's just like they have so much relevance in the game for whatever reason. Plus he's a black flash machine. He has a really high chance to do black flash, but like really the main reason why he's so high on this list is because of accessibility and the fact that they gave you some free SP materials when the SP system first came out. So you, one, definitely have access to Yuji, whether it be through the means of standard banner, whether it be through the means of selector ticket, whether it be through the means of just summoning. Like there's no way if you've been playing the game for like a month or 2 or 3 or whatever, right? I just find it very hard to believe that you did not summon a copy of Yuji at all at this point. I find it very hard to believe that. And it could be true. You could have not pulled him. I could be just like trying to push my experiences onto you, but like that is my experience. Yuji galore, Yuji everywhere, Yuji always. And even if you need to buy dupes of Yuji as well, if you already have him, you can buy dupes for him in the shop and just make him as much stronger as you want to. But also Yuji's the main character too, so he's going to get many more characters in this game, and this is always going to be a strong choice for a character to work on in the character rank growth system as well. So even if you don't want to use this Yuji, man, like he's still a good choice to have worked on for any future Yuji that's going to come out, because he's going to give them extra stats. All right, chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how obvious was it who number 1 was? Just comment down below. How obvious on a scale of 1 to 10 was it that Shoko was number 1? Bro, Shoko has some of the most insane buffs I have ever fucking seen. Shoko has AoE heals on ultimate. Shoko has heal over time. She has selective healing. She has a 65% buff to Jujutsu and Taijutsu for 3 turns that stacks while giving herself stealth. She also has a skill 1. You remember I was talking about earlier, you had to use your skill 1? She has one of the most beautiful skill 1 effects you will ever see. Recovers at 5 extra cursed energy. So that means on her turns where she is saving cursed energy and trying to build up to another skill, she is not getting 10 cursed energy. She's getting 15 cursed energy at the bare minimum if you're using this skill as well. So just very smart, very intuitive. There we go. This skill right here, you know, selected allies HP by 40% of reverse curse technique. If the allies is eligible target for reverse curse technique, recovers the selected allies HP by 5% for each turn for 3 turns, decreases the value of 2 of the allies eligible debuffs by 70%, and decreases the eligible duration of 2 of the allies continuous damage poisons received by 1. Prioritize the most recent debuff and continuous damage. So not only is she doing everything that I already said, but she is also rolling back your debuffs so that they're just not there anymore. So like if you had a debuff that was like, okay, you're taking an extra 50% damage, she can take up to 70% off of that. So she can just completely remove that shit, along with removing DOT, along with healing, along with buffing. What's this skill right here? This is the ultimate, right? Yeah, this is the ultimate. Increases all green type allies Taijutsu and Jujutsu by 65%. Recovers all allies HP by 15% with reverse curse technique. If an ally is eligible target for reverse curse technique, 10% HP for 2 turns. Decreases the value decreases the value of 2 of the allies eligible debuffs by 30%, decreases the turn duration of 2 eligible continuous damage poison received by 1, prioritizes the most recent stack. I mean, dude, her buffing is just absolutely insane. If her own HP is 60% or below after receiving an attack, recovers own HP by 20%, grants stealth status to self for 2 turns, increases own damage received by 15% for 3 turns, and up to one time per turn can be used twice in battle. So yeah, Shoko is just absolutely insane. Like, dude, you gotta understand the crushing of my soul when I summoned for her on stream the other day and I did not get her, but like, I'm still pushing, man. We still got, let's see, I got 2 single summons and then 5 multi summons, and then after that I can just pity her. But we are looking to pick up a copy of her before pity, so I can just save my 185 pity points. But you know, it's gonna be what it is. But guys, that's gonna be it for the tier list. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know if you guys have any like disagreements, any any gripes, concerns with this tier list, because I can tell you frankly, whether you think this tier list is good or not, I don't really give a shit. It's my opinion. But hopefully it was helpful to you guys, and my ramblings about these characters kind of gave you a solid idea of what they can do for you and for your account. That's the real point of these videos, so you know what these characters can do for you and your account precisely. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, you can go down below, you can hit the like, you can hit the subscribe, you can hit the notification bell, you can also comment and hit the, comment down below and let me know what you want to know. And I also forgot to say notify, blah, 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 glide. It's okay. Like I said, man, I woke up 40 minutes ago, or I guess an hour ago at this point. But if you guys did enjoy, then enjoy. Yes, the dead man does love you. Peace out.